I'm Indy Neidell.
And I'm Spartacus Olsson.
And this is another TimeGhost public service announcement. Now, on this channel, we have just finished our coverage of the Suez Crisis, which I think is one of the best little mini-series we've done. I particularly liked episode 2, Sparty. That's my favorite, and it's not because of the content. It's because I think I am exceptionally good in episode 2. So if you haven't watched that, you should go back and watch that. So what's next?
Well, I mean, first of all, you were exceptionally good throughout the whole series, and it's one of the most beautiful sets that Astrid has created.
Yeah,
I think
she nailed it.
Amazing set. So in the last episode of the Suez Crisis, Indy mentioned that we're doing the Troubles on popular demand. The Troubles, the problems in Ireland for a few decades. And we're still working on that. We're going to come out a little bit later than originally anticipated, but it's going to be great, and it's going to come out, well, sometimes in the next couple of months. But we've got something really interesting in the meantime.
Yeah, I think this is going to be really fun, and I think it might even be more popular than its predecessor if we do it properly, which I'm assuming we will. We're planning on doing Between Two Wars Season 2. Now, Season 1, mostly covered the rise and fall of nations, democracies, fascisms, other isms, a lot of political intrigue and ideologies, expansion in the Middle East and North Africa, Italy's adventures, Japan's adventures in China. But it was really a state-run thing, a political state, government, religion-run thing. But there's so much more that was going on, of course, between the two wars, the Great War and the Second World War. So the second season of Between Two Wars is going to look at more of those things. It's going to be looking at like the science and technology, the culture and art. I mean, and the sports, of course. You could have the great Uruguayan football teams and Ben Hogan and Babe Ruth and Agatha Christie and the Bauhaus School and all kinds of stuff with radio development and television development and like frozen food development. And there's one of the early episodes which does, and this is pretty cool actually, a brief history of traffic lights. And you can't get more exciting than that. I mean, come on, huh?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And that's why today in respect of the new direction that we're taking in Season 2, you can see that Indy is in full regalia as the gentleman he is, and I'm sitting here in sportswear as it became popular in the 1920s. And what we're also doing is that we're going back to the chronological format here. When we did the first season, we had an original idea before we did that, and that's the one we're coming back to now. But we also directed that series very much towards what contributed to the outbreak of World War II, since we were gearing up for the weekly coverage of World War II already then.
Right. If you go back to Between Two Wars Season 1 and watch the conclusions, most of which Sparty wrote, if you watch the conclusions, they really tie this event from 1933 and how it contributed to the outbreak of the Second World War.
Absolutely. And also they were event-oriented. So although they were in chronological order of how the events went, by force, we couldn't really go month by month or anything like that. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to go quarter by quarter for the full length, starting in quarter 4, 1918.
Which we can go ahead and call winter, because I prefer spring, summer, fall, winter, although we're still arguing about that.
Well, I kind of agree with you. I'm just trying to be, logical, which is not one of my strengths, so I don't know why I'm trying, but...
Hey, anyway, so when is Between Two Wars gonna start coming out?
Well, Between Two Wars is going to start coming out in about 4 weeks. We don't have the exact date yet, but it's going to be about 4 weeks until we get going with it. We're going to shoot again on the 5th of October. For that week, Indy's coming here to Bavaria, and we're going to do some really awesome stuff again. And in the meantime, we're going to revive a very, very often demanded...
Often forgotten,
but it's so fun.
The World Dictionary. Yep. One of our first projects, if you go back and look through our playlist, you can see some old World Dictionary episodes from a couple years ago when we had a lot less tech. It was just me and Sparty and Astrid that were doing all the filming and editing and stuff. We're curious to see how these new episodes are going to be now that we have, progressed and we have better equipment and stuff. Having said that, the next 3 letters, K, L, and M.
KLM, the Dutch episodes.
The Dutch episodes, we'll call them that. Okay, sure. Now it's a Dutch miniseries. The KLM episodes, actually, the formation of KLM is in one of the first episodes of Between Two Wars Season 2.
And it was already in Season 1.
Yes, it was. That's true. The K, L, and M episodes were written by me a couple years ago and shot by me and Sparty in one of the buildings at the edge of their property. So we're going to use that original footage because it was pretty good. And I like those scripts a lot. But we're curious to see how it's going to work with our new editors and stuff. And I'm curious to see what you guys who never got into the dictionary, never got a chance to see it, think of it. Because people ask for it all the time.
It's great. And I mean, now we also have the archive from Reuters. So it's going to be different without a doubt. And it's going to be, and I mean, Carolina, who's going to be editing them, she's like really good with graphics and stuff like that. So I think it's a perfect fit.
What's cool about the Reuters footage is before, in earlier episodes, like when I'm like in the eugenics episode, and I mentioned like the Incredible Hulk near the end, and we had some fictional footage of the Incredible Hulk from a 1970s television show. Now that we have the Reuters archive, we can use actual footage of the Incredible Hulk from the early and mid-60s during the gamma radiation times and stuff. So we don't have to rely on TV series dramatizations of Banner and the Hulk anymore. Man, that is one guy you really don't want to get angry, you know? You know, some bouncers say that at like bars and stuff, but meek, mild-mannered Dr. Banner, that's a guy you don't want to get angry. Hey, can we insert some footage of him being Hulk now? Whoa, look at that. Don't want to get that guy angry. Oh my gosh. So, so stay tuned over the next few weeks as we revive the World Dictionary for at least 3 episodes. We'll see how these 3 go, but we'll be ready to release Between Two Wars in only 4 or 5 weeks. So we'll see how we'll see what you guys think, you know?
Yeah, it's going to be great fun. And what we've also been doing, this was insane. About 2 weeks, is it 2 weeks ago now, Indy, you were here? Yeah, it's 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, we just wrapped shooting all of Pearl Harbor, which was insane. Indy and I finished the scripts in 6 days, working 16 hours a day. We've done research for months on it. So it's been Marcus, Linke, Wieke, Kapteijns, Indy and I who have been doing the research before that. But then we took all of the research and we had to get it into a minute-by-minute format.
Yeah, because those of you who don't know, we're covering Pearl Harbor in real time, minute by minute, for 5 hours on the World War II in Real Time channel this December 7th. Sorry about the spoilers. And it was really weird writing to the minute because things have to happen at certain times. So we can't have more than 160 words in a minute. But sometimes you want to say more. Yeah, it was. So we had to write it in. We weren't using Word or Pages. We were writing it in a spreadsheet because we had to write it minute by minute.
How many times when we were doing that did you point out that we are insane, Indy?
I didn't say we're insane. I said we're idiots.
Oh, yeah,
There's
right.
nothing crazy about it. It's just stupid. I said we're idiots for doing this because this is stupid.
But it was also one of the most fun writing sessions we've ever had, I think. It was exciting.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, wow, we learned so much as well because when you start taking the whole story, you really start putting it into minute by minute content. You start seeing the interdependencies and you discover things that you don't see otherwise. It was really exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be real eye-opening and stuff. And we have plenty of time because, of course, there's plenty of lulls, especially at the first hours and last hours, to talk about all the tech and the politics and the diplomacy and the codes and all the weirdness, and there's a lot of personal stories, a lot of personal accounts. It's really cool. But that's on the other channel. This is a TimeGhost public service announcement. That would be a World War II in real time public service announcement. So forget everything we've said for the last 2 minutes.
And to end the episode today, I think it's appropriate for us to once again thank the TimeGhost Army for making all of this possible. I mean, we're always trying to push the limits on how much we can squeeze out of every dollar we get. We haven't even got the full budget together for Pearl Harbor yet, but we're still doing it. And we're squeezing water out of stones in order to make sure that you get the best content possible about the greatest history or the worst history that mankind has ever experienced with the awesomest hosts, Indy and myself.
And to quote Paul Stanley, you wanted the best, you got the best. Now, then he goes on to talk about, band and show business and everything. But we can take the first part of that. You wanted the best, you got the best. Okay, put in a picture, a non-copyrighted picture of Paul Stanley and a lot of applause. You wanted the best, you got the best. That's it for today, but we will see you next time right here on Time Ghost.